morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel, and today we take a look at the Sheridan. Yes, we haven't had a look at this tank for a long time. Now, those of you that remember, the Sheridan had missile tanks, missiles, and yes, at the time made it completely broken in a way. I personally didn't think it was too much of an issue. In fact, people using the missiles usually had a disadvantage over everyone else, but the only advantage that they did have was that they could shoot tanks from over a rock, and that was the problem. The biggest problem was with the missiles. It was making tanks that are heavily armored, like an E3. Frontally, an E3 is absolutely amazing, and hold down is absolutely amazing. And the Sheridan missile just took that away from the E3. You could just aim the missile to go around, and it could just hit the side or even the rear of the tank, and it literally just made hold down tanks absolutely useless. Now, I did also state that the Sheridan with the heat is actually better because it gave people that didn't know how to use the missiles a bigger advantage, because the missiles weren't easy to control. They wasn't easy, and so many people wouldn't be able to use the missile because they just couldn't control it. And now that they are able to use the heat as a normal shell, they're probably doing much better. And I've always said that the Sheridan without the missiles is a better tank overall. It just doesn't have now the ability to get the shots off from over rocks and over hills that you should not be able to get the shot off anyway. It's still a good tank, but I can't believe how much a tank can change just from taking away something. The Sheridan used to be just a meme. It used to be meme, everyone talking about it, and now, like, no one ever talks about the Sheridan. It's got 2,400, almost 2,500 DPM, which is the lowest of the light tanks in tier 10. And I do love the fact that it is different to the other tier 10 light tanks. It's much different than the Batchat, and it's much different than the Vickers. It's basically just a big gun, and I do like that. And the penetration isn't the greatest, and the way that you play the tank is literally to shoot and run. Get a big massive derp into the enemy and then run, because the reload isn't great, but the speed is fantastic. Now, I've said it all along, even when the missiles were there, yes, the missiles were a problem, and it did cause a problem because of the ability that it had to shoot tanks from behind buildings, etc. For me, the biggest problem with the tank was the troll armor, and the armor is so troll, and it's still that today. I don't know any light tank like this with literally zero armor that can bounce from the side and that can bounce from the rear. And when you shoot these tanks, it is so frustrating when you shoot the rear of this tank or the side of the tank and it bounces. It is very, very frustrating. But now there isn't too much things happening for the Sheridan. It doesn't have that DPM, and that troll bounces is not too bad, and it's not causing that much of an issue now. It's not a tank that people talk about is broken. It's just literally, since it got the missiles removed, no one ever talks about the tank anymore. It's still a very popular tank. Loads of people play the Sheridan, but no one really moans the fact that that's overpowered or anything like that. It's a fun tank to play. It really is a fun tank to play, and you can still perform well. And I just love the ability to just dump your shot and then run. Use the mobility of the tank just to get the hell out of there. It's not too difficult to ace the tank as well at the moment. You can see there, that was a nice easy game. Wasn't I mean, didn't do anything too spectacular, but it's not too bad not too hard to ace. Now, if you play Supremacy on this, again, if you just use the mobility of the tank to go and spot, and then just get around them. You have to get around them. It only has the APCR heat and HE. Obviously, of course, they do have the higher alpha, but the aiming time, the dispersion, everything like that isn't great on the tank. But it is still a very fun tank to play, and I'd probably do go as far as saying this is the most fun light tank to play. The others are good. The Batchat not so much now. It's not really spoken about and it's not really played as much. And of course the Vickers is just a really, really good tank. But this just brings something else to medium tanks in tier 10, something that the others cannot do, and that is the high alpha. They all have the speed, but none of them have the alpha that this tank has got. Just to, like I said, just the opportunity to dump your shot and then relocate and then go around the map if you need to. It can do that, and I like that. It is still a fun tank to play. I do still like playing the tank, but definitely now it's not a broken tank. It's not an OP tank. It's just frustrating. And now the only frustrating part excuse me, the only frustrating part is the armor profile, because it is annoying, especially in a Death Star, or I've bounced shots from Jaegeroos, and it just big guns in general, and it's frustrating. Now, of course, the good thing about the tank as well is the spaced armor. It does have spaced armor pretty much all around it. So if you are shooting HE at the tank, then be prepared to only low roll, because it does have just spaced armor all around the tank. Of course, the bottom plate you can HE, the turret you can HE, but don't go splashing the side of this tank with HE, because that is all you're going to do is a bit of splash damage. And again, with the speed and the alpha, I do like to just sort of 1 minute you're at one side of the map, and then the next minute you're at the other side of the map doing 500, 600 damage into the enemy. And that's what we're going to do here. 1 minute we're in the middle. I spotted my Super Conqueror alone here against these two tanks, and I felt, you know what, I can help him, and I can help him clear these guys. And that's exactly what we do. And now it's a 4 versus 5. I can use it as a light tank. Now, we know that there was a tortoise in the middle here, so I just wanted to reset my camo before I head towards him, because I don't know if he's on his own here. And as you can see, we are going forward. There's the Kranvagen. We do get that bounce, which is what I said about. You can get bounces from the side. And that's exactly what we just did there with the tortoise. And again, we're going to use the speed, and we're going to get around the tortoise, and there's nothing now he can do. It's a 4 versus 5, but we do manage to take care of him. And again, we're just going to use the mobility to get around. It's now a 3 versus 4, but as you can see, 3 of these tanks are all one shot, so it shouldn't be a problem. We're just going to get behind this Kranvagen, take the shot, and then we're going to move on. And that's what I love about the tank, and it is a fun tank to play. And those of you that have never played the tank, it's definitely worth the grind. Definitely the tier 9 version I think could be a little bit better, because it does have the armor profile. Well, yes, it does, and it doesn't in a way, but you're up against tier 8 tanks, which is much better for you. So this game, 4.3k damage, just 2 tanks left alive. The E5, I'm just about to reload, so I don't mind taking a shot from this guy. So we are going to go out. We're going to use the heat. You can see we can penetrate him nice and easy with that heat, and we do manage to pick up 4 kills, and we do pick up a nice mastery badge. And you can see that was quite easy. That was quite easy. We didn't have to stress there. 1450 base XP, and we only got 140 supremacy points, but we did get a bit of assistant damage there. So yes, the tank has changed massively. It's not spoken about as much as it used to be with the missiles. If you want to play the missiles, of course, you've got the Sheridan missile tank that you can play in sort of the special game modes or training rooms as well. So definitely removing the missiles was the best thing to do, but I still think it's a good tank. But nowhere near as OP as it was once before. And again, no one ever speaks about the tank anymore, but it's still a fun tank to play, definitely worth grinding, so go grind it if you haven't. And it just gives something different to those medium tanks in the light tanks in tier 10. And I love the variety of tanks that you've got now. You've got an auto loader, you've got just a normal single fire shotgun with the Vickers, and of course you've got a higher 500 plus alpha gun with the Sheridan. So definitely a fun tank to play, and definitely a tank worth grinding. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'm meadsyreplays, and I will see you all soon. Bye bye. With